Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movies. And how is your holidays going so far? Today we are reviewing a, quote, holiday movie, another version of Black Christmas, but this time it is completely different from the other two versions as far as what is causing the problems and who's behind it.
And everything else.
It's completely different, and I don't understand. This is a copyright thing. I don't understand how you can call the movie with the same title when it's not that movie at all. In other words, this isn't Miracle on 34th Street redone. This isn't.
We will be watching all those, by the way. That's a little announcement.
But that's just one thing. I just don't understand it, how you can do that. And why you want to, if it's a completely different story. This is another horror movie, but it's about Christmas. And that's fine. But if it's a completely different story, it's nothing like the other two that we have just watched in the last few days. Why can't you name it something else? Why? Why not? So, now you know the name of what we're reviewing. It's Black Christmas.
Well, Safi,
it came out in 2019.
How about this, Safi? Are you ready to apologize to the remake we just reviewed? Because this movie was so bad. You know, like that, compared to this movie, like that movie is like a masterpiece.
It's not a masterpiece.
Compared to this, though,
well,
it is.
It's a kind of a low-rent horror movie, but it is better in terms of
entertainment,
story, or I don't
characters, logic.
I just watched this and
violence, horror elements, nudity.
Just the storyline is bizarre.
Yeah.
And I really, I could have watched it, at least the last part again, to try to fathom what are they talking about.
Well, I can explain it. So basically, the concept of the story, because you have to remember, when you talk about this movie, you have to remember, this is a pure agenda movie. It is the feminazi agenda movie of 2019. I refuse to watch this movie or support it. And what do you know? It was a huge failure. You know, it was even so bad to the point that the female director, writer, she purposefully made the movie 3D, not 3D, PG-13, so that young girls could see it and they could be, they could get the messaging in the movie. You know, because that's what was important with making this movie, was the messaging and making sure that girls would be indoctrinated by this anti-men message movie. And so what's really funny is, like, basically one of the cores of the story, besides that all men are evil, is a lot of these, like, hot button issues with, like, colleges, like hot button feminazi talking points about, like, how quote-unquote rape culture exists, quote-unquote. And so one of the biggest things is that the whole plot is built around this fraternity, and they are the toxic male fraternity, and they just go around raping all the women on campus because they're evil men, you know, like all men. And, well, it turns out that they are using a bust of the founder of the college, and somehow he is excreting black ooze, and they are painting that on each other and maybe drinking it, and then it gives them superpowers and it possesses them and turns them into evil killers. And so the main character, she's got to destroy the statue at the end, and then all the men are suddenly defenseless.
Well,
and so
they just lose their power.
Basically, this is metaphorical for, or it's symbolic for, like, in real life, we need to tear down and get rid of all these white male statues. And it's also symbolic for what they're doing with this movie. You know, they're tearing down the original Black Christmas movie, and then they're building their own stupid shit on top of it. That's exactly what they're doing. It's as I said, it's cultural terrorism, because they're destroying these. Like they destroyed Star Wars, they destroyed Lord of the Rings. They're trying to destroy Harry Potter currently. They destroyed Halo. They've destroyed everything, and they've turned it into feminism stuff. And so this movie is basically encouraging that and saying that is how you take away the power from the men, is that you destroy everything that is quote unquote old and traditional, and you build on top of it the new trash. So basically the message of the movie is to destroy old statues, like, what was that guy's name? General Robert Lee, the Southern guy.
I'm not going to agree with you about all this.
That's the messaging.
I don't believe it.
Because that's why the statue.
This is a special statue.
That doesn't matter. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. Yes, Safi, that's the point. It's encouraging this. It's basically saying, like, see, look, this is what it's like in real life. These statues give evil men power. And just like, Star Wars gives all these evil men power and over women, and so we need to destroy them so men don't have any power anymore. That's the message of the movie.
Right, I just don't agree.
Well, it's true.
Of course, it's true in this case, because the statue and all it's a supernatural movie.
It is symbolic. Yes, Safi.
You're more into the symbolic than the women who are talking about anti-men crap.
Because it's true. Safi, don't do that.
Okay,
don't be one of those people, one of those people who sees, like, Barbie and says that Barbie isn't an anti-men movie. Like, don't be like that, Safi.
It's just not very well done.
That's the intent of this shitty writer.
Yeah, it just, the thing, I had to let the cat out. The thing with the women, it's just like, it's so over the top. You have this one, and she's more outspoken than all of them. She wants to oust a professor of their class because she thinks he's racist and misogynistic.
She wants to oust him because he is teaching classic literature, and he is not teaching any literature written by black people or quote-unquote queer people. So literally for no good reason at all, basically just because he's a man. It's really disgusting. It's like, and that's another thing, like, there's so many agendas in this movie, it's really disgusting. I mean, one of the agendas too, and this is why Safi is completely wrong, one of the agendas is that she says that, those white male classics, those aren't my classics. And it's like,
what is... say that. Oh, she said that.
What does that even mean? Like, see, that's how racist and disgusting this bitch is.
Yeah, she's
like...
way over the top.
Oh, really?
Even the other sorority sisters, I think they think she's over the top, too.
No, they believe her.
I don't believe it.
That's what the whole movie's about. It's about how they had to learn to believe her and trust her, because you have to become a fighter in the modern patriarchy.
She said that, and then she started wimping out. And the girl who was actually raped, she said, I thought you were a fighter.
But then they reversed that.
She left her and went into the house where the bad guys were by herself.
Safi, that she reverses that and comes back at the end with a team of super fighters or something.
This is another problem with it. And we jumped all the way to the end, which Marco always gets mad at me for doing.
No, I never did that. You jumped to the end. I was saying, I was talking about something she said at the beginning, that those aren't her classics.
Well, that's ridiculous. A classic is a class. Mozart, is she not going to ever like Mozart?
Yeah,
Beethoven?
That's what she's saying.
Well, see, that's ridiculous.
That's racist. Like, because if I said I'm not going to watch any movie if it's made by a black person, what would people say?
They would not be happy.
They would say that it's racist. But since it's about men, since it's hatred directed towards men, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what's bizarre. You have two parts of it. You have these sorority girls, and there's this one. She was roofied and raped, and at this one place, and the guy's not even there anymore. He doesn't even go to school there anymore. And then you have this one bizarre girl who Marco is distinctly talking about, that those classics, who's she talking about? Is she talking about Mark Twain? Is she or Samuel Clemens?
She's talking about anyone. Anyone who is white and male is automatically not somebody that she wants to read about or listen to.
And Charles Dickens?
Nope, he's not a gay person, so he doesn't count.
See, I'm thinking about, Christmas stories too. Anyway, it's just that part of it is just, and she's in the class or outside the class, and she's gathering names on the petition to get rid of the professor.
Yeah.
And then, which is just. And you think because he did something really wrong. Like
no, he didn't.
He hurt somebody.
No.
He stole money. He, who knows, what you could say. But no, she wants to, because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid. And so that part's stupid. So anyway.
Her character was the worst. And I will say, too, because I know that Safi probably didn't get this, but her character is supposed to be like the Margot Kidder character in the original movie, which, that character was very loud, but she was not like a crazy feminazi. So, this girl, she is a typical, like, modern-day feminazi type of person. Go ahead, Safi. What are you doing?
That's your flashlight off.
That's your cue to talk.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, well, okay. So what this story is about. Now, these other black Christmas movies were based on a family who had previously lived on the house before it became a sorority house. And, it was about a boy who was abused by his mother, and then his mother raped him, and she had a baby, and then the baby grew up, and then they killed the parents. The mother had killed the father, and so there was a stepfather, so they killed them. So
why are you going through that?
That was all what the other movies were about.
No, the original didn't have any of that stuff at all, Safi.
Well, the last two that we watched.
No, the last one that we watched.
Okay, well, I had that. Okay, this has absolutely nothing to do with it, except there's a killer. But the thing is, the killer happens to just be going after these sorority people. And so at the very beginning, you have a girl, she's not at the sorority, she's at the library, doing her homework.
And by the way, this movie is terribly made, too. Like, this doesn't even feel like a real movie to me, honestly.
Well, anyway, she is this is Christmas break. So she's going home. She was getting some last minute studying done. She's going to her grandma's house. So,
and this is really fucked up, too. Like, she's walking alone, and she gets these texts. And so, in this movie, too, another thing that's retarded and shitty as fuck, instead of getting scary phone calls from the killer, they get weird DMs. That's what they call them. They call them weird DMs. Like that's just the even more hilarious part. Like, they don't call them scary or creepy. They call them weird. Weird messages. Like, it's just so stupid and badly written. And while she's doing this, though, something that was really bothersome was there was a white man behind her, and it looked like he was just walking, and he was, like, kept looking at her because she kept looking at him. as if he was doing something wrong. And it was like she was immediately on her guard because a white male was following her.
Well, it was
or he
weird.
he was walking behind her. Like, it reminds me of, like, you know, like anywhere out in public, it's like if I walk behind a woman, is the woman gonna think that I'm following her because I'm a white man? Like, because that's basically what this is.
Oh, come on.
That's what this is. Like,
I just thought she was scared.
Because she's retarded.
The man turned and he went somewhere else. And she's like, phew, you know. But then she turns around and she comes face to face with a person in a dark hood and a mask.
Safi, it's very similar, that whole thing there. What? There's a lot of people, too, like racist women, and if they see a black person walking behind them, they get really, really scared, and they go to the other side of the road. And when you see that, you say, that's racist. But when it has to do with a white man, and saying that, like, she's scared of a white man walking behind her, it's okay.
Well, I just think you're exaggerating.
Really? Really?
Yes, because I've been on a campus at night.
That's not the same thing, Safi. I know.
Encourage women to walk by themselves, and it wouldn't matter if anybody came up behind them.
This was like a neighborhood.
Be a little bit upset.
This was like a neighborhood.
Well, yeah, she was going to her. That was another thing. I don't know where the car was supposed to be.
Me neither.
They said a lot. And what it looked like when you looked up, these were regular houses. They were decorated with Christmas lights. And but she said this, though. She said this on the phone. I'm going to the lot to my car. And the other girl she was talking to understood that. So anyway, it opens up with her. But anyway, when the guy with the hood faces her, well, he kills her. Because she runs to these houses and knocks on the door, and he's disappeared, or she, and then she goes to this house, and it's probably the fraternity house, although it didn't look like it. It was smaller. And I thought, and the hooded guy opens the door, and then he stabs her, and then he drags her away, and that's what it starts off with.
It's a terribly done opening sequence.
Yeah, it's not very good.
It's really badly done. And another thing is, since it's PG-13, they constantly cut away from any violence that happens in the movie. So, you know, it's opposite of, like, the good remake that Safi shat all over. Well, I did too.
Yeah.
But I still said it was pretty good.
No, it was better than this.
It was so much better than this. But
there's just so many over the top. I just get really sick of it. I mean, I don't know why they're doing this over the top stuff.
Because they don't see it as over the top. They see it as.
I think it is. It doesn't make for a good story. It really doesn't. It detracts away from what goes on. That's why people didn't like it. And it just wasn't very well done. And so the next thing you see, and I thought they had such a time gap between that happening and then the next scenes they showed. I thought this was from another time.
Really? I know. I didn't know what it was.
The same, you know, like this was a sorority girl who was killed a long time ago in another year.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was part of this because they didn't say anything about her. It was just really weird, and so
it wasn't like in the other remake where the girl at the beginning of the movie, they talk all about her, and then her sister even shows up. It's not like that. It's just like, oh, that's some random woman.
Yeah, because she never goes to the sorority house. She's intending on going from the library directly to her car in a lot somewhere, which we never see. And so anyway, the whole rest of the thing is you've got this group of girls, and you know, it's the holidays, so it's a certain group of girls. They're there for the holidays, I guess.
And these girls are weirdos. Like right off the bat, like the main girl, it's really too bad about her because she's a great actress. You know, she was in that Fright Night remake. and she was really good in that. It's too bad she's in this, which she is really the only good thing about the movie. But
what
she
about Carrie Elways?
no, she has an awful haircut though. Like
I don't like it either.
that haircut was really gross looking. Like it looks so bad. I was like, see, this is a feminazi haircut right here. Like
she colored it too, and it was coming out.
Ugh.
It just didn't look good.
It looks so bad, and so, but this group is so weird. One of them has a shirt that says "Your monologue is boring, man." You know, instead of monologue, monologue. So, like, if a man speaks, then it's boring to the woman because she's misandrist. Safi?
Well, Marco told me that, and I just didn't even notice. Which girl had it?
The first girl, the one who shoved the you-know-what. What was that, Safi? Like, that was something weird, too. This girl comes into another girl's room, and she says, I'm all out of... Or, what was it? Was it a pad? Was it a pad or a tampon?
Probably the second.
Well, she's like, I'm all out of tampons. Give me one. And the main character hands one to her, and she reaches down her pants and puts it in right in front of her friend. And she's the one wearing the shirt with, your monologue is boring me. And I was like, see, this right here is exactly what is wrong with modern movies.
Yeah,
like,
I don't like that.
That's really gross.
It's really creepy and stupid.
That was grosser than any of the other stuff in the whole movie. To me.
I guess, like, unless the cat at the end, was that drinking blood?
I don't know. I didn't even see that.
Oh, well, I noticed it because I wondered where the cat was. There was a really beautiful white cat in it. And it disappears, and I thought it had gotten killed, but it did. It shows up in the end, and it was drinking. It looked like it was drinking blood off the floor, where one of the sorority girls got killed.
So, oh yeah, and another thing which I forgot to mention about the opening scene is that the girl in the opening scene, when she thinks that a guy is coming after her, she takes her car keys and puts them in between her fingers.
They tell you to do
that. Like you're going to be able to use your car keys as an effective weapon.
They tell you to do that.
Who tells you?
It.
Retarded people?
No.
Safi, that's fucking stupid.
I've seen that.
That's brain dead dipshit city.
That's what they tell you to do.
That's not going to do anything to me.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I've seen it. They tell you to do that.
First thing I do, I see somebody who I want to attack, which would never happen. But if I did, if I saw them with their stupid little car keys in their hands, all I'd have to do is reach to their wrist and squeeze their hand until the car keys fall out or break it in half or something. Like, there's no way somebody, especially somebody so skinny like that, like, she's not going to do shit.
She had nothing else to defend herself with, obviously.
She could have used her brain.
Well, no. I mean, what's she going to do with her brain?
I think about what to do.
Well, I guess, but that is what they tell you to do.
Why?
You get the keys and you stick them through your fingers.
That's dumb as shit,
I've
Safi.
seen it, Marco, right? Just don't argue.
That is
something you
dumb
don't know anything
shit.
About.
It is dumb shit, Safi.
Okay, well, I've seen that for years.
Well, I don't ever want to see it again because it's bad. Like, at another point in the movie, the main character, she uses one of her car keys to kill a guy. It's just so bizarre and so badly done. It's like, what the fuck is this movie?
Okay, well, so anyway, basically, in the sorority, you have one girl, she's leaving. She's getting ready to take the train. And this is another thing. I can't figure out who they're letting live and who they're... well, I guess they kind of explained it in the way after, though. Because they've already killed one girl. She wasn't even part of what they were doing. She left early and went to see... she was going to go see her grandma. The one who was at the library, which we've already talked about. But, so you have this house. How many girls are there? Okay, there's the one who's getting ready to go on the train. So she has the cat, too. So supposedly she's not even supposed to be there. And then, And you see her later, she's out on the walk and she's been stabbed. And so you wonder, and she had the cat, so I thought, well, maybe the cat got killed too, but they didn't say anything. Then you have the one who's doing the petitions. You have the one who was raped. And then, what else, Marco? There's another one or two.
I don't care about these people.
Well, it's just, it was just a very small group of about 4 people, and then there are really only going to be 3 of them, because one of them, I think, is leaving.
One of the things that happens, and this is like a main plot point of the Black Christmas movie, is that the girls are going to the rape fraternity, which I don't know why they know that it's a rape fraternity, and they're going there so that they can sing a song, and sing a song in their little Mean Girls outfits, like in the movie Mean Girls, where they do the Christmas number.
They're dressed like elves.
Yeah.
Only they're revealing elves. They have strapless bustier red outfits with fur around the edges.
I mean, honestly, they're going to the rape fraternity wearing that revealing clothing. One could say that they're asking for it.
Oh my God!
No, I'm just kidding.
They just shouldn't be going. Well, I don't know.
I just used that as an opportunity to say what they probably thought that I would say.
Okay. Well, anyway, it doesn't make sense. It sounded like something that is done every year, like an annual event. And I didn't even know what it was, but apparently, because they say near the end, it was supposed to be like a talent show.
Why are they going to the rape fraternity, though?
And dressed like that.
No,
just
go there to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
It's bizarre. And so then, the main girl is going, the rape girl.
But she wasn't going to be part of it. But apparently, one of them, what happened to her?
I don't know.
Remember. She got sick, or she didn't. She was one disappeared or something.
Maybe she read the script and she's like, "This is really bad," and she left.
Well, she wasn't supposed to perform, and so when they get up there, and then she stands and she sees the guy who raped her
is right there.
He's no longer a student there. He's visiting, and he's standing there.
Yeah.
And so,
but what the thing is, though, is that the loudmouth friend, she forces the main girl to do this and to sing with them and everything. And basically, the message of the movie is that she should have done that, and she should have never been mad at her friend for forcing her to do that, even though she's a rape victim. And so basically this movie is kind of like a victim-blaming movie.
Well, another thing, too, she had said that she had gone to the police, and she went to the campus police, and this is kind of a common theme, which I've had experience with this. Sometimes they're not very good. Now, if you recall, they can be good, because if you recall that one girl, she's Mormon with a family, and she was kidnapped. Or wait, was it that girl? Well, there was another girl who'd been kidnapped, and the campus policeman recognized something was wrong, and it ended up she'd been gone for months, and she saved her. I don't know if that was the one or it was another one, but anyway. But most of the time, you don't hear that they're very good. And she had reported the rape, and they didn't believe her. And that was the end of it.
Which is
odd.
Like a typical. Well, that's a typical feminazi agenda thing. That this is what happens where women get raped and nobody believes them, and nothing ever happens because men are all protected and they can do whatever they want.
I don't believe that either. But they're just in general with the campus police. I've had my own experience. It just depends. You can't make a generalization and say they're all bad.
But that's what this movie does.
Right.
This movie is masterful at just making generalizations about men. That's basically the only reason this movie was made. And
there was no woman police either. It was
it was just all white men. Obviously, evil white men.
But unfortunately, the one campus police person, she had gone there because she said they had done this performance, and right after, because it had been videotaped and put online, and it went viral. And ever since they had done it, all of them had gotten these very odd DMs.
No, they're weird DMs. That's what they call them. Weird DMs.
And it came from that fraternity house, but not a particular person. So at least it didn't say it on there. It just had the fraternity house logo on it or something. And they were just brushing it off. They did go with her to the place, but there was nobody answered the door, of course. And so they left. Anyway, it ends up that cop, he gets killed going to they do a 911 thing when they were being attacked later on, and he did get killed.
Another agenda that goes on in this movie is that at a certain point, one of the girls is telling a story about somebody else vomiting or something, and then she says that a girl does it, and then the loudmouth corrects her, and she says, not girl, woman, because you can't say girl, you have to say woman. And that, that's another typical agenda. So, like, that's what this movie is. Like, the story, I don't know why Safi's, like, obsessed with the story here, because there is no story, it's just propaganda. I mean, come on, Safi. Seriously?
Well,
what are you going to say, you didn't notice that?
I don't know. It just doesn't matter. It's not very well done at all. And they're pushing all that stuff, and like I said, all it does is detract from the story, and in fact the story can actually get lost. So you wonder, well, what's going on? What's the story? Well, there's some kind of killer or killers, and they're from this fraternity. And what happened was that night when they had performed, I don't, did she do it before or after? She witnessed some kind of ritual through the closed door.
A fraternity initiation.
Yeah, and they were wearing robes.
Ooh.
And there's the statue had this black ooze coming out of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And they were putting it on the people that they were, what do you call it, indoctrinating or initiating into the fraternity. And she's like, what the hell are they doing? And
I was like, I don't fucking care, because this movie sucks.
And it really didn't matter. It just, because it was so lightly explained.
Yeah.
And what they said was, it was almost like feeding into this agenda thing that Marco was talking about, only from a different angle. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to say anything more about it. But what was really weird is Riley, like I said, she went there and she was going to face them on her own because the African-American girl wanted to go to the police. And she said, what about this? You keep talking about fighting, and you don't want to fight. You want to go have somebody else fight your battles for you, which, it's kind of like, well, wouldn't it, they don't have any guns or anything. What is she going to do at the fraternity house? Be one person against all those people.
Yeah.
And even if they weren't supernaturally evil with this ooze that comes out of the statue, they still would be more people against just one individual, her. You know what she had with her? A snow shovel. That was her weapon.
Well, also, we should talk about when they're and by the way, another agenda to mention is that the main character's named Riley, and the girls have very well, okay. Let's just say, like, this is something that we see a lot with the agendas of movies now too, is that a lot of the female characters, they have like boys' names. And
I didn't mind that. I
because like Riley is really not a fitting name for that girl, and really nothing about her fit. I mean, she's a good actress, and she really felt out of place in this movie, because like everybody else was terrible. Especially Carrie Elwes. And, with his whole, we're not insane, we are men. Remember that?
Yeah, it's really not
That was a
him.
line.
Really not him either. We've seen him in lots of different things.
Yeah, I thought he was a good actor. I guess he's not.
Oh, sad.
I mean, I would never show my face in public again if I was in this movie.
Right.
What?
They need to work. They're actors. They gotta have a job.
Well, so before they go back to the fraternity, or one of them does, they're like, well, we should go to the police because, there's dead people in our house. We killed people. Even though it was self-defense, and the cop is dead too. And then the main girl is like, we can't go to the police because the police don't believe women.
Well,
we can't do that.
She was raped and they didn't believe her.
We can't go to the police
because this is a little bit different. There's dead people in her house, and she said they won't believe us. They'll think we did something wrong.
Yeah, that's so.
Which was really weak.
Yeah, really bad,
Very
really
weak.
Stupid, pathetic. Another thing too is the fact that usually in the Black Christmas movie, well, in the first one, you had the red herring boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
And in the remake they had one, but that was kind of a failure. I didn't know why they did that. I mean, he shouldn't have even been in the movie. But in this movie, they have two guys who they kind of use as red herrings, but one of them is not really a red herring, or he is or he isn't. It's really strange. But one of them is this guy who's like, he's the boyfriend of one of them, and they're talking in the kitchen together, and he starts to say, like, why are you guys just calling all men rapists, and you're so anti-men, you're hateful people.
Called them out on it.
Yeah, and they're like, that's not what we're talking about, me, and they kick him out. And also too, he's drinking beer, and the girl is like, I didn't know you like beer. And he's like, I like beer. And, they're referencing that, the I like beer thing from real life. Like, that's how cringeworthy this movie is.
And then, right after he leaves, they get attacked.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I don't know where'd they come from. Did he just disappear again? You wonder, was he part of it? And
no, he's not.
He wasn't. No.
And he comes back in and he gets killed, so he's a red herring.
He got killed really quickly, too.
But then there's another guy, and he's like Sean King, that white guy who's like 1% black, and he thinks he's a black guy. You know that guy, Safi?
Mm-mm.
On Twitter? That fucking retarded guy?
No, you're talking about.
Well, there's this side character, and I just call him Sean King because that's exactly what he looks like. And of course, he is attractive to the main character, obviously, because you can't have a white male love interest in this movie because all white men are bad, like the movie wants you to think and believe. So he is another kind of red herring because he's really nice. He's a simp. He's a soy boy. He signs that petition so that he can make that girl like him. And then he ends up turning evil, and he joins the fraternity.
Well, they put the stuff on his head, and it's like, if they put that stuff on you, it changes you, and you become a blind follower.
That doesn't matter. He still joined them. Like, he was a killer. He became a killer, and then what happens, Safi, with the girl power gang?
Well, the troublemaker girl, the one who was garnering petition signatures, and the Riley girl who had actually been the one who was raped, and she said, you're not. Why are you going to the police? You're not. That's what I liked about you. You're a fighter, and you want to stand up for yourself. And so. And then she gets out of the car, and like I said, she has a snow shovel, and she's going to that house by herself, and Landon joins her. This is before he gets the stuff on his face. So anyway, but while that's happening, that girl goes back, the one who was getting petition signatures and has a loudmouth. She goes back to the house, and her car is surrounded by all these girls. They're all sorority sisters. Like, where the hell did they come from? Because at the beginning, for a long time, all they have is this core group of 3 or 4 girls.
The core 4.
And I'm thinking, like, are they from other sororities? I mean, where did they come from? This is Christmas break. So I didn't get that. So it was a huge crowd. And they all went to the fraternity house. And they're like, as soon as Riley gets in trouble, and there's another sorority girl there who had been missing. And not the blonde one at the beginning. This is another one. I think this is the one with the cat. Or no, it's a different one. It's even another one. And she had disappeared too. But she was actually there at this fraternity house. And she said, you just have to follow them and do whatever they say and you'll be fine. And so it ended up they killed her because they had this big table and it had like a possession of each of the sorority sisters.
Basically, the shitty writer of this movie said, the movie was called Black Christmas, so let's add black magic to it.
And it really wasn't, they did not do it very well at all.
No.
Because she said, you took all these things from us so you could participate? You're a traitor. And anyway, they decide in order to get Riley to submit to them and grovel, that they would kill this other girl. And they did. And she said, I did everything you said. And they said, yeah, you're doing this. You're sacrificing. You're being sacrificed so you can... They didn't say it that way. So I don't know, so they could get Riley to submit. I don't know. I thought that was bizarre. They didn't say it that way, but they just didn't really say it at all. They didn't do very much. It's like they had this idea, but they didn't really flesh it out. It was very superficial and hard to understand. And so they killed the girl, and Riley pretended she saw one of the things on the table that she could use as a weapon. And so she pretended to submit, which means she had to bow down. And then she ran to the table and grabbed the thing and stabbed one of them. And then she was losing in, and they were killing her, like strangling her or something. And then all these girls show up with that one girl who's a loudmouth. And if they have a battle.
Yeah, they have it's like, let's just go to this fraternity house and kill people like it's a video game. That's how real life works. Don't contact police if you're being attacked by a murderer. Just go to the murderer's house and have a battle. Have a battle royale.
It was a battle of women against men.
Women versus men. Exactly like how the writer and director of this movie wants things to be like.
And so what happens?
And so, I wanted to point out, though, the fact that this loudmouth bitch, she uses a bow and arrow one time, and then after that, she never uses the arrows again, and instead she just uses the bow as a club, and she beats people with it, and then she even stabs them with it, and it's like, nobody uses a bow from a bow and arrow to stab people or beat them.
No.
They use the fucking arrows! And she had all these arrows in her backpack, and she doesn't even use them. Like, how stupid can you get?
They got the bow and arrow at their house. One of those killer guys had left it there because they had gotten shot. In fact, one of the sorority girls had been shot with it and killed.
What'd you think of that, Safi? You're not saying anything about that. Would you not notice that, too?
No, I did notice that. I thought... I was like, what is that? And it was the bow.
Yeah, she's using a bow as a weapon.
Anyway, so what happens is Riley looks at that statue and she thinks, this is kind of the root of all the problems, which is the problems of these people turning into killers and this thing about domination over women and they should be standing behind men or something. It was just really bizarre. So she grabs a bus, and this is a very heavy, large, cumbersome. I mean, if you actually, it probably wasn't that. They probably made it out of like a light clay or something and fired it. I don't know, but it wasn't, it wasn't as heavy as you would think. It could have weighed 100 pounds. And she picks it up and puts it over her head, and she slams it on the ground.
And then all of a sudden, the men don't have any power anymore.
No, it's all gone.
And yet Safi doesn't see that that's symbolic for what they should do in real life by taking down the statues. Because they talked earlier in the movie how the loudmouth had a statue of the founder of the college torn down. Because they're a big fan of doing that nowadays. They like to tear.
Marco, that has nothing to do with it.
They like to tear down history.
And no, that's not true. And
yeah,
what they want, you're talking about Confederate people who tried to overthrow the government.
That doesn't matter. It's history. It's historical. Who cares?
They want to put
there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Well, they put them in a museum.
Well, no, let's keep them out in public so people can see history. And instead of hiding it in a museum like a little bitch.
Well, you can go to the museum.
Well, how about keeping it out in public and just leaving it alone? Because, that's the agenda of this movie, is that we should be destroying history and taking down statues of men.
Well,
because all men are bad.
But they're not all bad. This was actually a supernatural influenced one, which that is never explained. Because forever it's been like this? When did it become supernatural?
In the very beginning of time.
So that's what I mean. It's a very bizarre story.
Well, no,
I'm not sure how to grade it.
But we're not done yet. We have to talk about how at the end Sean King, all of a sudden, he just stops trying to kill them. And then the final girl, she's all of a sudden okay with him. And she's still going to be with him. Because, he's not an evil white man.
Okay, well,
what?
Whatever.
You didn't notice that? At the end there, like, after he's trying to kill them, it's like, oh, that's perfectly okay, because he's not a white man. He's not an evil white man. Like all white men. And that's what this movie is. It's a really racist, misandrist movie. If they made a movie like this about women, it would be not even made, it would be banned and called sexist and all these horrible things, but since it's about men, it's perfectly okay to do. And what's even worse, though, is just the fact that, like, this is not Black Christmas. Like,
no.
That's the biggest problem for me.
It's barely Christmas. And the supernatural part is very underwhelming. And not very well done. So anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about it because
Why?
I feel like it's a bad movie, and there's just nothing else to say about it that's any good. I mean,
really,
I'm not recommending it. I wouldn't recommend this movie for anything. And
okay, Safi, give me your phone. Why aren't you talking, Safi?
Anyway, I am talking.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Okay, throw that away. Okay, so what's your food review, Safi?
That's a hard one. Well, I feel like I have to do another Christmas-related... What were you... You were asking me about something where we had been...
Where we had been.
To eat. Well, I guess... one thing I could do, we just reviewed all of these appetizers and entrees from Chef Ramsay. They're all frozen, it's separate videos. And we had this one, it was an appetizer, and it was called Pizza Bites.
Ew.
And they were very small, and they didn't taste like pizza at all. So it's like it promised you that they would be pizza bites. And what do you think? What do you think when you think of a pizza bite? What do you think it should be? Well, one, it should taste like pizza. And how would that be? Well, there'd be cheese in it, maybe pepperoni, ham, probably mainly pepperoni, because you're talking about a little bite, and you can get pepperoni, and it has more of a flavor of pizza, because you get pepperoni pizza if you want. So it didn't taste like hardly anything, and it didn't have much in it. There weren't a lot of the bites, and it just was a failure. And to me, the movie is kind of like that too. It was not like the other Black Christmas movies. They should have named it something completely different. If they're going to make this a supernatural type story, they should have focused a lot more on that and developed it further. It's just like this pizza bite. It should have been developed further.
Or you should just make a real movie, like Black Christmas, because I don't know what this thing is. Like with the first movie, they almost made it like X-Files, and then this movie, they have the supernatural stuff. And I don't know what it is with, like, nothing about the original is supernatural at all. That has nothing to do with the movie.
It's about an abuse situation.
What?
Abuse and rape. Oh, that one, yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
I was talking about the one we had just watched.
No,
Yeah.
It's about a killer.
Yeah.
It's not about a person with supernatural power. But that's what they turned it into for these movies, and it's like, I don't understand that. Like,
but
nothing
it's not
about
developed either, though.
No.
It's so loose that it makes no sense. So.
Why are you not talking, Safi?
Well, I don't know what else to say. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why I gave it these pizza bites. We're never going to buy them again. In fact, we did find 2 appetizers, and we already did a video about this, that we liked. But all of the entrees and all of the rest of the appetizers are not what they say they are, and that's really like this movie. It's not really what you would expect, and it's not very well done. And I think, Marco talks about all these agendas, and they focused way too much on that kind of stuff and not on the story. And that is a problem with a lot of modern movies. They're so busy focusing on agendas that they forget about the story, and that's pretty important. I mean, why do you... And nobody likes it. Marco said it wasn't very well received at all.
No,
why is that?
This movie has like a 3 out of 10 on IMDb.
And why is that? Because probably what I'm saying. There's no story. There's nothing to latch on to. And it's not developed right. Or it's not developed enough. And it just when you have something like that, it's almost like it's a hot air balloon and somebody's gotten a gun and shot it up and you're falling to the ground. It doesn't have any stability or consistency. So, what about you, Marco? What would you give it? Because it was very hard to give a food review.
Yeah. Well, I thought about Taco Bell, and
which we haven't gone to in a long time.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that tomorrow, since we have to take the cat to the vet again. Yeah. So, I thought about some of the worst times I've had Taco Bell. And one of those times, because I used to get Taco Bell every week, or try to, and I would usually get like bean burritos with something else, like maybe a cheesy taco or a cheesy gordita crunch. And in the winter time, especially, it was always the winter time. So this was like 2018, 2017 time period, or 2016 as well. And getting the bean burritos in the winter time is a bad idea for some reason. Like, they are always cold. They are never good. The beans don't taste right. The cheese isn't good. The sauce isn't good. But the worst part are the onions. The onions at Taco Bell in the winter time are bad. and are expired, or they're awful. And so like there were so many bad times getting bean burritos at Taco Bell. So I want to give this movie 2 bean burritos from Taco Bell with a Baja Blaster freeze. But the freeze has melted down like the Frosties at Wendy's, so it's really not a freeze, it's a soda drink. So it's not even a freeze either, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't want this. This is gross and awful. Like the movie. Safi?
Yeah, no, that's same with me. I wouldn't eat the pizza bites ever again because they really aren't satisfying.
Well, I get a bean burrito again. Like the bean burrito can be really, really good at Taco Bell, but you know there's times in the winter where if you get it, it's a big mistake. It'd be really bad.
Yeah, there's something about having Taco Bell when it gets cold out that it isn't good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Marco might want to rethink about getting that.
Why?
We'll see. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers so we can listen to your feedback and also suggestions. And what are you watching? What are you watching this Christmas? Are you watching scary Christmas movies, which I don't think there's a lot of them? Or what are you watching? So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.